It had been 2 months since my previous investigation of the abandoned duck pond park. I stopped because I hadn't really had any reason to continue. Well, that was before I found out my aunt had some audio recordings of her deceased boyfriend's investigation of the place that he had recorded before he died. Apparently, he did some investigation of his own after the 4 children were murdered. I had asked my aunt for the audio recordings for at least a month, but she would never let me have it. Thirsty for knowledge on Disney Plus, I stole the audio tapes from her. They are below. Recording 1. Hello? I was a former worker at Duck Pond. After the 4 children were murdered there, I decided to do some investigation. I'm gonna go check out that place tomorrow. Recording 2. Hello? I entered the abandoned duck pond today. I haven't really found anything, and I had to leave early because I had footsteps, and I didn't want to get caught sneaking into the park. Tomorrow, I will do some investigation and tell you a story from when I worked here. Recording 3. Hello? I haven't heard anything else, so I'll just tell you a story about when I worked here. There was a huge party at the park, and it was jam-packed. Once the party was halfway done, there was a big feast. It was most unhealthy things that I'd ever seen. There were literally no healthy foods, only sugary junk food. There was a lot of sugary food there, obviously, and a lot of young kids there, so you can see how this would escalate. There were children everywhere. These children were also the sloppiest eaters I'd ever seen. One child, I remember, ran up to me. He had icing all over his face and chocolate on other sugary foods covering his hands. He grabbed my leg. He was twitching so fast, he was jittering, and I almost lost balance. He was twitching so fast, and it was so jittery that I lost my balance and fell over. Most children were like that too. Literally, only 2 weren't. But one of the said 2 was just a little bit spazzing and hyper, and the other was still super hyped up. He wasn't covered in sweets. Not one child calm. The only reason I'm telling you this story is that when I got up after I lost my balance and fell, I looked to the side and saw a man in a Donald suit. His mask was covered in blood. I rubbed my eyes and looked again. He was gone. Recording 4. I found a lead. Apparently someone named Jade Furshin has an intel on some sort of secret area on an eighth of the size of the park underneath the park. It is referred to as SR142. I don't know what that stands for, but it could be Secret Room 142. But you can never be sure. I'm gonna interview Jade tomorrow. See what I can find. Interview 5. I interviewed Jade Furshin today, and she said that you can easily access this area by going to the giant Donald Duck portrait in the main hall and press his left eye twice, his left foot once, and his right foot once, his left eye 3 times, and his right eye once. Then the portrait rolls away like a hidden bookshelf with a secret area behind it. There is an elevator that leads to the secret area. I'm going to investigate that area tomorrow. Recording 6. I went down the area today. There, I saw some creepy stuff. There was a Mickey Mouse plush with 2 eyeballs ripped out and sat on top of a box. Apparently, this belonged to Jade, but it was stolen while she was on shift at Duck Pond. Anyway, while I was searching, I found something that I will never unsee. Remembering this hyperactive kid who made me trip back in recording there? Well, I found him dead. He was still like he was that night. His mouth was covered with frosting and his hands were covered with chocolate. However, there was one difference. The frosting and chocolate were mixed with blood. I was so sick. I will continue researching tomorrow, because of what I saw today, I really didn't want to. Recording 7. I went back to the area. I was on the search for any more things that I saw like yesterday. I didn't find much of what I was looking for. Well, I did find some interesting stuff, but I can't put into words. Anyway, after a while, I smelled the stench of dead bodies. I followed the smell reluctantly and found more dead bodies of children. As the only 2 non-out-of-control kids at the party, both were hung by nooses. I left again. I'll go back tomorrow. Recording 8. I know who the killer is. His name is... Go away. Leave me be. He's after me. If anyone gets this, go down to SR142. Oh my god. This startled me, and I located and talked to Jan Frishin. She told me all about where I needed to go, and about some safe down there with the combinations of SR142 that apparently, in her words, would help in the investigation of this creepy duck pond. After this, I immediately packed a backpack and snuck down to Duck Pond. I did the secret combination on the Donald Duck portrait and went down to SR124. There, it was creepy. Old, abandoned toys, mascot outfits, and storage boxes remained. This place had an unbearable odor, and I nearly puked. There was random junk lying all around. I tripped on a metal pipe. When I got up, I saw a Donald Duck head staring at me. It didn't move, and it was just the remains of a costume without a body. Not going back, I continued my search. The smell suddenly got 10 times worse, and I followed the scent to a little closed-off room. I opened it, and I saw something horrible. Dead bodies. Tons of dead bodies. All lying down dead. I did a count, and there were 10. But most spooky part were 4 children hung by nooses, and the rest of them, there were 4 children killed by the Donald Duck killer? After a while, I found a safe Jane had told me about. I entered the combination and opened it. I found a newspaper saying it was some park named Jack Sparrow's Super Sea. It was closed down by the police for the alleged suspicious activity for possibly drugging guests, unsafe equipment. The Jack Sparrow animatronic of the park had been tampered with and causing many, many problems. Then I found a file that said all Jack Sparrow Super Sea things will be turned into Donald Duck type media. This is gross negligence on Disney's part, as they know the things that were in Jack Sparrow's Super Sea were dangerous, but continued to reuse it, endangering the guests. I left and would tell Jade what happened, but I found her dead in her room with a broken spine. Called the police, but by the time they arrived, she was already dead. After an investigation, it was ruled out that she had died in an accident. One thing I had noticed that in the picture of her dead, there were eyeless Mickey plush heard in the audio recording. I went to interview Howard Falk, who only was willing to tell me about the things he murmured to those kids. Disney made me do it.